Waka, what's up, and welcome back to the channel for yet another FC Finch review and a little something different yet again on the table today. We got another of these Gundam Universe figures, courtesy of JJ. He is a good friend and supporter of the channel, and he sends me stuff from time to time. This is one of those Ross pickups where, yes, he did find this in Ross for less than half the price that it was original retail, and he said, hey, Finch, you want these? And I said, hell yes, and we're going to be taking a look at the GU20 Shenlong Gundam, and this is hitting me all in the feels today because Wing was my introduction to Gundam. I'm more a fan of Zeta as my main series, but Wing will always have that special place in my heart of being my introduction to mobiles, to Gundam in general. So this is kind of a very emotional review for me today, but we're going to be taking a look at the Shenlong Gundam. I'm going to show you all that it has to offer, but first we're going to take a look at the box, and Dino Cat kind of meowing in the background, and there of course we have a nice shot of the Shenlong Gundam. Very awesome animation, the dragon attacking, got the nice little glow coming from the orbs on his shoulders. G01S Shenlong Gundam, choking hazard, all the good warnings and stuff. It is made by Bandai. GU20 Shenlong Gundam Universe up at the top, got the little Gundam V right there, and then if we go on the side, you got the Shenlong Gundam, and there of course is our Ross sticker, $11.99. We can probably take that off, but that's okay. And on the back, you got a nice shot of the Shenlong digging up some dirt with its little laser beam, and all the little things that it does, all the articulation and stuff. And then you have the let's see, they have the other Sazabi and the Master Gundam coming up. This was the one I actually skipped out on, and then you could scan for Gundam info right there if you want to scan it right now. And then of course we have a nice shot of the figure on the side of the box, GU20 Shenlong Gundam, and on the bottom more Gundam Universe animation, and on the top a nice see-through, and you got Shenlong Gundam ages 15 and up. And that's it for the box. We'll take a quick look at the instructions. It is just one sheet. This is a relatively simple figure. And of course, we got all the Shenlong does, everything that it can do. We're going to go over. It's got its backpack, interchangeable parts, and I like the instruction manual as though you are the Gundam pilot. And there we go for that. And that is it for the instructions and the box. So let's get a good look at the Shenlong Gundam. And straight away, he's got a decent weight to him. I mean, he's not heavy by any stretch, but he has a good chunk of plastic, and he feels overall pretty solid for the most part. He's got that nice kind of girthy fighter type stance, you know, not agile or lithe. He just feels very girthy, very tough, and ready for battle. And the coloration, let me tell you, very nice coloration, similarly to the RX-78. I mean, he's got just nice areas of blues and reds, and the yellows, they all just kind of pop. I love this absolute metallic green paint done in the orbs on the shoulders, a little crest on the chest area. He's got some in the camera for the head. It's a really nice touch. Speaking of the head, he's got more of that metallic green paint in the eyes. It looks really nice when you zoom in close. Just a really nice detail to add. Got the venting detail in there as well, the nice yellow around the head area, and then some nice vibrant red on the chest. He's got some venting in the lower leg pads. Got a little bit of molded detail in the chest area, same thing for the cockpit area. And then if you move on to the legs are loaded with molded detail as well. They're pretty much mostly a plain white for the most part, but you can see all these panel lines and all that. And then of course you can see even in the knee joint you have some molded detail as well, which looks really good. Got a little bit of red on the feet as well. And then if we move to the back, you can see mostly for the most part a clean back. We'll get to the backpack in just a bit. He does have some molded detail on his little butt plate here, as well as some molded detail on the back of the shoulder pads. And you can see the dragon tucked away. Got the fangs done in a nice yellow, and some little molded detail on the fins that are at the back of the head. Look really good. And as far as the articulation goes, we'll get to the dragon a little later when we get to gimmicks, but his head does swivel left to right. He can go up just a smidge. He can go down as though he's looking at Noin like, are you listening? His arms are on a hinge system, so the shoulder pad's on a hinge, the arm is on a hinge, and that can go quite a ways up. You can bring it all the way around very nicely, just like that. He has a bicep swivel as well, and a double jointed elbow for the full-on, yeah! Wrists are molded, but they are on a ball joint, so they get you all the way around, as universal as they can be. move these out to the side so we can get his, he does have a chest crunch, so it can kind of crunch down just a little bit, and it kind of crunches. It's a rotation left to right just a little bit, and you can see it kind of operates at the upper chest area, not necessarily the waist. The thigh pads move out only so far, just like that. You kind of got to keep the chest all the way back, and you can get the legs out. He can get you just shy of a fusion kick, and then if you move him back, you got to kind of get it in the crevice here, but he can get you almost a fusion back kick, not quite there, and out to the side for a fusion side kick at the very least, ninja style. And then he does have a thigh swivel as well, and he does have a double jointed knee, but it only gets you about to 90 at best. And as for the ankle, it does tilt left to right, and it can go all the way down the toe tilt and just a little bit of a heel tilt. And that's pretty much it for his articulation. We'll talk about his accessories because he does come with a few of them. And firstly, he does come with a pair of hands to hold stuff, because he does come with stuff to hold. And they're just basically molded in there on that ball joint. So all you got to do is you can just pop off the existing hand right off the ball joint, just take it out of the socket, and you can put the holder hand in there, just pop it right in, and it comes out nice and easy just like that. Then he comes, of course, with some things to hold. He does come with his little beam glaive right here, and you can see it's just done in a gray plastic. It's got some little bit of molded detail on there, and you can just kind of put that in his hand, and he can hold that quite firmly. That thing will not go anywhere. But of course, what uses a beam glaive without an actual beam? And it does come with this glaive blade that looks really, really good. Again, done in that metallic green paint. You can see it's kind of got the central area, and then it's got the area that's branching out, and this is embossed on there. Well, it looks really, really good. It has this white peg, and you can see you have a port right in the glaive area. You can just plug that in, and he has his glaive all ready to go, which looks absolutely too cool. Again, really nice coloration on the glaive. Then of course he does come with his backpack. Yes, his backpack is a separate piece, and it does have some molded detail on the back. It does have an area to store the beam glaive. We'll show that off in just a bit, and it does rotate, so you can get various different poses from the show. Got some venting detail right back here. It is done in a nice blue, and then of course you have the vernier thrusters in a separate piece. They are on a ball joint, and they can rotate either which way. And you can see this just has some pegs on it, and it will peg right into the slots on his back. And you can just see how it kind of looks right at home where it is. You can just kind of leave that on there. Most of his accessories are stuff that he had by default in the show, and you can actually, we'll take the glaive blade off, and we can actually take the glaive, and you can just store it right in back. You can just pop it right in, and you can see it's kind of recessed in there, and it'll just hold nice and firmly. And again, you could switch the orientation however you want, which is absolutely too cool. He also does come with his shield done very nicely. Of course, he can throw his shield in the show, and it's done in a very vibrant yellow with a nice blue outside. Just looks really, really good. And it does have a nice peg on the side. You can see only his left arm has a slot, and you can just plug that into his left arm, and you could have him all armored up and ready to go. And of course, the last standalone accessory is his little flight stand adapter peg, and it's done similarly to the RX-78. Just has a little port on the bottom. I don't have the flight stand yet, but you can just plug that in his gentleman's area, and I usually just leave that in there because it's not intrusive. It doesn't hinder any movement at all. And there we go for that. And the last thing to go over is his one gimmick. The only gimmick that matters is his dragon. And what you could do is you could bring the dragon head down. Incidentally, the fangs are articulated. You could orient them however you want. You bring the lower fang around like this, and you can orient this. You can just move on this hinge right here, which incidentally acts as his bicep swivel. It also does have a rotation, kind of the elbow joint right here, and you could bring it out on 1 and 2, and it does have a double joint right here and a double joint right here, as well as a swivel at the shoulder, and of course a joint at the shoulder. This thing is actually, this dragon is actually pretty cool. It honestly reminds me of the 1 in 44 model kit that I have of this guy, and this thing is about, oh god, about 5 inches long, which is really good for a number of poses. And that is going to be about it for his accessories. Quite a bit this guy comes with, and really well integrated into the figure. And for a couple quick comparisons, well, just to give you a frame of reference, if you are a Transformers fan, there he is next to Studio Series 86 Hot Rod, which is about typical par for the course Studio Series size. You can see he is just a smidge taller than that. And of course, we'll get them in there with his granddaddy, the RX-78, our previous Gundam Universe review. And yeah, you can see he's actually even taller than the RX-78. Let me get a scale measurement here just to kind of see. And yeah, he's to the top of his shoulders, he's almost 7 inches, which is really, really cool. But yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it for our comparisons. So let's summarize, and there we have it for the Gundam Universe GU20 Shenlong Gundam. And yeah, bottom line, this is a really decent action figure. It seems really well made. The coloration is absolutely stunning. I know it's just mostly plastic and unpainted, but the colors are really vibrant and they really pop. I especially love the use of the chrome green metallic paint. I think that just adds such a nice touch. Mwah, chef's kiss. Articulation overall decent for a fair number of good poses. I assume his posability is a little bit improved if you have the flight stand for him. As well, his accessories, they're exactly what you would expect him to have. They store as you would expect them to store, and he looks good holding them. They do work just fine on this figure overall. So yeah, just a really decent action figure, and I actually absolutely do love the engineering in the Dragon Arm. Very reminiscent of the 1/44 scale model kit I used to have of them. Now that being said, if you are looking for something to use in place of a good Gunpla, this is not it. What this is just a really decent action figure where if you either don't have the time to do Gunpla, or you're like myself and you're just not good at Gunpla, but you still want something to represent your love for the franchise without breaking an arm or a leg at the bank, this is perfect. Again, especially you could find them at the Ross price. Again, it's a really good action figure and it does a really good job. It gets the point across. So from that perspective, yeah, overall, I think this is a solid buy, and I do highly recommend it, especially if you can find it for the Ross price. That being said, that is going to conclude this review. Now, if you found this review fun and informative, hit that like button down below. That helps me out, and I do greatly appreciate it. Also, if you are not yet subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing. I mainly do Transformers and Eagle Moss, but every once in a while, we deviate for figures like this, and I actually do have one more that I'm going to go over in the next week here. But yeah, every once in a while, we do something fun and exciting. So definitely, if you find yourself into that sort of stuff or anything nerdy, feel free to stick around, check that out, and subscribe, and I definitely greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much to the 500 plus of you that already are. And that said, I have been FC Finch. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.